Morning guys, Monday, it's actually Christmas Day. Up in the barn again today. Well, it's pretty atrocious. Get 3 hours done in the barn in the morning and then make it down for Christmas dinner just about. Aiming to be back up to around 18 hours for this week, so can't be just doing 2 hours on the bike. If I do 2 hours on the bike, it leaves me with a lot to do at the end of the week, so doing 3 hours is the standard. No reason not to do it today, so yeah, just bashing out 3 hours, and even if it is on the trainer, so yeah, well, it's going to be probably grim the rest of this week anyway, so yeah. No breeze today, so I've been sweating about just over an hour in. It's very sweaty today, so yeah, even though I'm in this big barn and it's winter, it's still very warm. Not got any air circulating the building. It's not too bad. 2 hours in now, just chugging along. Nice steady 3 hours done there. Now time for Christmas lunch. Morning guys, it's Tuesday and I'm on the trainer again today. Now today I'm actually doing my first training session of a new block, so I'm doing a low cadence block, and this is going to be the first time I've ever touched that stuff, so it's going to be quite exciting. It's going to be a 6-week block, and the first 2 weeks of it is very much easing into the low cadence stuff and getting an understanding of how it feels. By the end of it I should be smashing out a large amount of time at low cadence and pairing it with high cadence. The idea being you do the low cadence, get used to that higher level of torque. You also want to maintain the high cadence, because personally when I'm doing efforts, I'm 100 to 110 RPM. I want to learn the neuromuscular pathways to produce the high level of torque, but then also maintain the ability to push power at a high cadence. It's a way to ease back into some threshold work, and I've been very curious about this the low cadence work. There's not much science backing it up saying that it's guaranteed to be effective, but UAE Team Emirates are big fans of the low cadence work, and you know, if it works for Poggy, it works for me. So yeah, and I think for my pedaling, since I like to run a very high cadence, I feel like I have a good range of cadence I can work in. So if I can bring up the torque, then I can gradually build back up the cadence quite easily, like 80 to 120 RPM. I tend to be fine within that range. We'll see how it goes. Just an easy little cadence session today. It's 3 by 4 minutes at low cadence. Going to be aiming for 400 watts and 50 RPM, which is about 75 Newton meters. But might be the case that the power's down, but make sure that I'm at that low cadence. Taking the first 2 weeks to just learn what it's like to do these low cadence efforts, because you won't be able to just jump into a 10-minute low cadence effort and expect you'll be able to do it, especially if you haven't done it before. So do some sprints at the start of the session, then move on to the low cadence work, and then finish it off with some very high cadence work back up at 110 plus RPM. Just on my warm up now, that finished with some max sprints. Now what I'm going to do is 5-second sprint. I've only ever done max efforts with sprints before. See what it's like to try and maintain a high power for a bit longer, so 5 seconds. And then I think I'm over the next 6 weeks going to work on the 5-second and the 12-second sprint, just to learn how to do the longer sustained sprints. A bit like the high cadence, low cadence stuff, there's going to be a learning curve to training the 5-second, the longer sprints. Finished 8 5-second sprints there. Bump the resistance up, press the lap button, and then it has a bit of a delay. So then you do your 5-second sprint from about 4 seconds to 9. When it ticks over to 10 seconds, you have to bump up the resistance on the trainer. It's not like outdoors where air resistance really just shags you and you lose your speed. The flywheel just keeps getting faster when you're just on the trainer and you're not got a program to simulate outdoor riding. But yeah, still able to do some proper sprints, so it's absolutely fine really. Focus on my form as well, because slacking a bit, my upper back's been rounding just when I'm riding the bike, so I need to make conscious effort to hinge at the hip. Ideally have a straight back, best for power transfer, best for your back and everything. So I made a good effort when I started riding full time. I made a good effort to work on that, but it's obviously regressing a little bit, so I need to continuously cue it just out on my easy rides. Make sure I'm in this sort of position rather than letting the shoulders come over. Bit of rest now, and then I'll start the low cadence efforts. So I'm not conditioned enough to do 4-minute efforts yet, so I've done 2 2-minute efforts. I'll continue with that because I don't think I could do a 4-minute effort. It doesn't even feel like cycling at this point. Being someone who likes a high cadence, like 50 RPM, is just so fucking hard. The fact it's hard means it's probably something I need to work on. So yeah, we'll stick with it for the next 6 weeks. And hopefully gradually build it up to, Javine talked about 10-minute efforts, so try and build it up to a 10-minute effort where I'm very constant with the power and the cadence, and so it's well within my control rather than it being spiky and dropping off. Hard work. A bit more under control of it now, not lurching the bike as much. 350 to 300 or 400 watts and 50 to 60 RPM. As long as I'm in that range, I'm happy. Like I said, just learn how to do these efforts, and then I can bump up the time I'm doing them for. That's 6 by 2 minutes at low cadence done there. 2 by 6 minutes at high cadence, because I know I can do high cadence because I like high cadence. So 110 to 120 RPM and still 400 watts around threshold. Just on the first high cadence there, because of the fatigue in the legs, that effort felt really strange, like not as easy as it should be. So yeah, I decided not to do 6 minutes, decided to do 4 minutes. So I do 3 by 4 minutes rather than 2 by 12. Now normally, 99% of the time, I'd say you have a session. Once you've written down a session, you should keep to it. However, for this stuff, I've never done it before. I've never done the low cadence before. So I didn't realise how difficult that low cadence work would be. And obviously I chopped the efforts in half. And it's the same with the high cadence after the low cadence. So now that I know how that session feels, I'll have a think about what the progression needs to be to get up to 10-minute low cadence efforts. I think it's fine to readjust on this first session because I'm just testing things out. So we're getting the same amount of work, overall work done. It's just having longer rests. Much better on this high cadence. Still bloody hard. Absolutely drenched, mate. Dripping. Oh, so warm. Round it up to 3 hours there with the zone 2 after the session. So another good block in the barn. So keeping up the hours for the week. So yeah, good stuff. Hey guys, it's Wednesday, on the trainer again today. It's absolutely disgusting weather outside, stupidly windy and very rainy, so yeah, it's my last day here in Devon, so just spending the last day on the trainer. Aiming for 3 hours. I'll wait for the wind. Realistically not feeling super motivated. Had to stop twice, just give myself a couple of minutes just to reset, even though I'm just riding easy. And you have those days, well, this one session, it doesn't matter. Like, yes, I could not do this ride, and the net overall effect of that would be so negligible, but it's more so, you lose this battle, you might end up losing the war, the skipping rides could spiral, and then multiple missed rides, then you're going to have a bigger effect. Unless there's something actually wrong, like I should just be riding, resetting, and just cracking on with it. It doesn't matter. Like, I can have my power be down. I'm not concerned if my power is going to be down, so I can just ease off slightly more. At the end of the day, it's the net effect. It's all part of the bigger picture. The key is to be in touch with your body enough that you know it's a psychological effect rather than a physical effect. Now, I might be wrong. There might be something wrong, but I'm pretty confident that it's just lack of mental strength today, so just have to power through it and you'll be better for doing the ride. Just taking 5 again, just nothing wrong with just having a little bit of a rest, you know. It is grim today. Shed's getting absolutely battered by the wind and the rain, and yeah. Whew. do some training today, you know, because obviously I was not getting out today. God, that'd be awful. Imagine that. Even after my whining, still got my 3 hours done. So yeah, can't complain. And then going to be better for having done it rather than just giving up. So I'm very curious. Back in Sheffield, and I've got some new stuff. A pair of shoes. They're exactly the same. The Shimano RC3s, but just in white. So I'll have these as like my racing pair, my nice pair. So wear these on the indoor ride today. They're exactly the same as these shoes that I've had for 18 months or so. Also got a new pair of wheels. So these 9 Velo wheels. They're really nicely packaged. Had this shroud on the top, through axle, and the extra spokes on top, and then nicely packaged wheels. Also come in these little bike bags, which is another nice little thing. Yeah, so here they are. Set of 40mm deep wheels, so a lot lighter than the 60mm I've got. Yeah, just have these as a distinct racing wheel, and I think I'm also gonna, during the racing season, I might also put GP5000s on the 60mm training wheels I use, and then I have the choice of going with the 40mm or the 60mm or something in between. Morning guys, it's Thursday. On the trainer again today, but not in the barn anymore. Back up in Sheffield, so back in the garage. And 3 hours in today. Got quite late because of travelling yesterday. Actually going to be doing another low cadence session. So these first 2 weeks of the block, I'm going to do 3 sessions because the total work done is very small. So I should be able to, it's not too intense really, learning the muscular pathways. Tuesday I did 6x2 minutes at low cadence. So I'm going to try 4x3 minutes at low cadence and see how that goes. On Saturday do a third session and do 3x4 minutes. So gradually, well, not gradually, ramping up the low cadence length of efforts, as I should just be able to get used to them, I reckon, the later weeks, because I'll be spending more time at low cadence. I'll only do 2 sessions in the week. Bit late, but still need to crack on with my work, so yeah. Still going to do some sprints at the start of the session as well. Feel like I should be able to recover from that, but might be the case come Saturday that I've decided I've overcooked it, so worth experimenting with for sure. Haven't managed to get much sleep for the past few days when I was down south, because stay up quite late and then get up relatively early. So last night was the first night in a while that I've just been able to sleep a natural amount, just wake up as intended, even if it did mean I woke up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It happens. Done my 8 5-second sprints now, those were good. Now I'm going to move on to the low cadence work. What I'm going to try and do is do it in erg mode, so set the erg to 380, so that's about what I was doing on Tuesday. And it should be very easy to control the cadence, because setting a variable, so it's just one variable to control rather than trying to control the watts and the cadence. Then when I'm more experienced with it, doing these sessions, I might be able to do them outside. Tried doing it on erg mode, it's just not working. When I was using erg mode on Zwift, it literally locks me in at that power, whereas on this, it's on the Wahoo, it's not. It's like relying on me to bring it up to power, so it's not nearly as responsive as when I'm using it on Zwift. So yeah, that's not working. So I'm gonna have to do it free riding. So find a gear and a cadence. Find a gear to try and do the right power and cadence for these intervals. So yeah, it's a bit annoying, because I thought I'd found a bit of a cheat mode of how to make this session a bit easier, but no, it seems like that's not the case. Done my 4x3 minutes now. That was good, felt manageable, felt like I was able to control the cadence and the power quite well. Got it in the right gear and resistance, and then just stick into that 50 to 55 RPM range. So yeah, that's good. I'm going to do 2x6 minutes high cadence at a similar power, so around 380. Don't want to lose the high end cadence, because that's where I'm best at. So flush the lactic out the legs. Legs are really struggling after the high low cadence stuff, so just going to do 3x4 minutes instead again, and try again for 2x6 on Saturday. Yeah, still figuring out what the session should be looking like, and then once I've got it down on paper, and I'm confident that's a realistic progression for the block, then I'll stick to it no matter what. Still figuring out how these sessions feel because I haven't touched the low cadence work before. Crazy how hard those are. I guess it's because your fast switch fibres get completely burnt out from the low cadence work, and then you've just got nothing left to. You still need to use them when you're spinning really fast, so makes that effort so much harder. Probably means it's a good thing that I'm giving this low cadence work a shot. Hey guys, it's Friday, back out on the real roads again today. Yeah, lovely day for it, and it's good to be back out again after being on the trainer for 4 days. 2 hours into the ride now, but I feel like my power meter's overreading, so I'm just gonna calibrate it now because I haven't calibrated it after taking it off and on the bike when I was travelling back from Devon. So see if this fixes it. Devon's have opened now, so it looks like it's going to be a bit of a slop fest for the rest of the ride. So, yeah, just crack on, get out. Back now. Yeah, it started raining and it just got worse and worse and worse, and it was absolutely pissing it down, and I was completely underdressed, so I just had jersey, gilet, little nothing gilet, and arm warmers and leg warmers. And no gloves. Stupid idea. It wasn't meant to rain. Hands went numb, and then the arm warmers got saturated, so they were completely drenched. So then my forearms were going numb, and the rain just got worse and worse and worse. And it actually was sleeting. I was 20 minutes from home, and it started sleeting on me. It's like fucking hell, just freezing. Like could barely shift. Rain, sleet in my face, coming in my face, so it felt like I think the wind had changed direction, so that I was getting headwind on the way back. So I was like squinting to see the road's drenched. At the end of the ride, I can like barely pull on my brakes because my hands are numb, and so are my forearms. But yeah, got home, forearms and fingers, hands are still numb. Just gonna hop in the shower now. But fucking hell, that was disgusting. Proper winter ride that. I've definitely earned my. I don't care that I did 4 days indoors for my first 500, and I'm gonna do a 5th one tomorrow because I fucking earned that with that winter ride. That was disgusting. Just setting up the new wheels, so got a GP5000 on the 9 Velo wheel. It's got a latex inner tube in there. So this is a 25mm tyre. I've actually ordered a new cassette and a 28mm GP5000 for the rear tyre. So I'll run a 25 on the front, a 28 on the rear. Hi guys, it's Sunday. Normally my rest day today, but didn't end up riding yesterday because we had a change of plan. Ended up doing a New Year's Eve with some family friends, so that was good fun. However, I wasn't able to ride yesterday as I went to a gym that I've now got a membership for, and they're not open today, so I had to go yesterday. Didn't have time to gym and ride on the same day, so moved my ride to today. Haven't done a serious gym session in a while, so got a bit of DOMs in the legs, to be fair. But I know that a couple of weeks of gymming and I'll be right back, very used to it again, and able to balance it with the cycling, which is the plan. I'm a really big fan of my gym work, really love it, but very easy for me to get overexcited with it, where I'll commit too much energy to the gym. So that's why for the past 17 weeks I've laid off the gym work and like, okay, can I build up the cycling mileage? Now my cycling mileage is relatively high and I'm happy with it. I'll see if I can reintroduce the gym work and have it complement my cycling rather than taking away from it. That's one of my goals for the new year, getting back into the gym work and balancing out with the cycling to improve my cycling. That's the main goal of it. Pretty heavy legs today, but I'm gonna have a go at doing, I was gonna do on Saturday sprints and low cadence work, so have a go at that today, but take it with a grain of salt, because the way I'd planned to balance the gym work would be do the gym work on the same day as a session, so do a session in the morning and then gym in the evening, get the hang of balancing that again, and yeah, get the benefits from getting the gym work in again. I was pleasantly surprised with how how good my snatch and clean and jerk technique was. Like, yes, there's a lot of things to work on with it. It's nowhere near perfect. I don't think it was too much worse, just from the videos. Don't think it was, and how it felt, don't think it was too much worse than when I'd last done Olympic lifting. So that's really nice to see, and keep drilling the cues to improve my technique and hopefully continue to get better at lifting, because they're very technical lifts rather than just physical brute strength. Got my 8 sprints now, those are pretty good. Obviously the power would be lower than the other 2 days this week, but with the DOMs in the legs, I was actually feeling better after doing those efforts, like using your legs sort of thing, rather than just letting the lactic and everything stay around in the legs. So felt good to use them. I'm going to have a go at the low cadence work now. So I'm going to try and do 3x4 minutes, so bumping it up again. Tuesday I was doing 2-minute reps, Thursday I did 3-minute reps, so I'm going to try 4-minute reps today. Same amount of time, so 12 minutes at low cadence, and then 12 minutes at high cadence after that to spin the legs out. Got my 3x4 minutes at low cadence now, that went well, so getting the hang of it, which is the main thing. So 3 sessions this week, but pretty conservative sessions, but just meant that I gave myself the time to get used to it. I have a good idea of how I can build it up in the next 6 weeks to do a really nice low cadence block, and hopefully see some benefits in the peak powers. But yeah, nice first training block of the year, something interesting to me, and I think it'll complement the lifting very well, because it's like learning to like activate all of your muscle fibers really, or as many of them as possible, to produce as much power as possible basically. So yeah, like you feel every muscle in your legs straining when you're doing those low cadence efforts. Gonna try my 2x6 minutes at high cadence again, but haven't managed to do that yet. The other 2 sessions I did 3x4 minutes, so try 2x6 again. Might be the case that I have to drop it to 3x4, but we'll have a crack at it. 2x6 minute high cadence went absolutely fine, so that was nice, because I really struggled with them on Tuesday and Thursday, and then just topped up the mileage to zone 2 mileage to 3 hours on the bike total there. So yeah, getting some good miles in the bank, so around 18 and a bit hours for the week, which was the aim. So yeah, happy with that. Now, since it's New Year's Eve, I thought I'd go through some of my goals for 2024. Now, most of these are to do with the racing that I'll be doing next year, so my outdoor season. So these are definitely going to evolve during the course of the year, but I've got some brief goals to work towards. First of all, get racing, get a lot of racing under the belt, get a huge amount of experience, because one of the big goals I want for next year is to peak at Zwift Academy 2024, and I'm going to be no use if I make it to the finals and I haven't had any experience out on the road. That's why if I made it through this year, it would have been a bit weird, because I'm not going to join a development team after not racing at all. That's just that wouldn't be feasible really. So I want to get a huge amount of experience out on the road, so that it would be feasible to, if I did make the finals, it would be feasible to join a pro Conti team rather than now, where that's just not happening. So yeah, I've got power goals, but racing is kind of more important at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't matter what your power is. Like, if you're not doing well in races, then who cares? So, but obviously power goals, the thing is with cycling, since it's so objective, having a power meter, it's really nice to be able to work towards these goals and see how you are tracking along with that. So I have got power goals, mainly around FTP, I guess, because that's what I've got experience with, like improving my FTP from races and from how I do in threshold sessions. I'll be able to have a good idea of where my threshold's at. And so now my threshold's typically, I'd say, is in the range of 3.8. I guess my 1 hour test was, last week was 3:58 for the hour. And that might be more accurate for what my threshold is. However, most people don't do 20-minute tests to
estimate their threshold. So that FTP isn't really your 1 hour power, but it's just a metric to use for structuring your training around. So I think continuing using the 20 minute is probably going to be best for me. And from the 20-minute power, so taking 95% of that, I'd like to get my FTP up to around 430, I'd say. So at the moment, I'd say my FTP is around 380 to 400, and I want to shift that up. So the range of my FTP is 400 to 430. So on the low end, I'll have a 400 watt FTP. I think that would be good, and maybe even have a 400 watt FTP in the time trial position. So really work on having a similar power output, being able to produce a lot of your upright power in a very cramped and aerodynamic position. That would be really good. So in 2024, I'll finish my racing season at some point, take an off season, and then start building for Zwift Academy. Hopefully it's near the end of the year again, so I'll have a decent amount of time to prepare for it. But with the aim of 400 watts being the low end for my new FTP, hopefully I can, after my off season, I can quickly get back up to that level so that I'm like ready for Zwift Academy. Other power numbers, I do want to improve those, but typically bringing up your FTP, you're going to bring everything else up, but you do need a little bit of specific work to bring up that anaerobic and VO2 max power. So I've got some nice target powers from what I did in Zwift Academy, and I'd like to improve on those out on the road. So bring that 5 minute power I was super happy with, but bring that up to 550 or something, and 30-second sprint to over 1,000 watts. That would be really good. Just little ones like that, but I'm not too sure about like how feasible it is to bring those up. Like achieving a 420 watt FTP seems feasible to me, whereas for the VO2 max and anaerobic stuff, I'm not super sure. I could come up with a figure, but I'm not 100% sure if I could, how feasible that is really, just because I don't have as much experience in trying to improve that. I'll be doing a lot of racing out on the road, so I'll need to bring up the VO2 max and anaerobic stuff and peak during the latter half of the season. But you want to save that because you can easily get burnt out trying to drill VO2 max and anaerobic stuff during the year. So that's why threshold's so powerful, because you can do it for months and months and continue to see improvement, whereas the higher end stuff, you peak and then you can try and hold that peak, but you will see a decline at some stage. Like I said, power numbers are all good, but racing results are going to be what I'm looking for. So I'm going to be doing road racing and time trialing. In terms of time trialing, I think I'm going to make it simple, I think I'm going to stick to 10 mile and 25 mile TTs. Now these are going to be the most popular events, but I don't really care about that. More competition, the better. Plus, it's going to be a lot easier to train for. A 25 mile TT being less than an hour, just training threshold is going to be brilliant for that. So it's going to make the training a lot simpler for this first season, rather than saying, I'll do a 50 mile TT as well, because then I'll have to do some specific training for that as well. So if I hone in on the shorter TTs, I think that will do me good. And I want to improve during the season. Like, I don't want my first race to be my best race and then never improve on that. I want to continually iterate on my TT to peak for nationals. So CTT nationals, it's open entry as long as you have a good qualifying time, a good time during the season. So do the 10 mile and the 25 mile nationals, and ideally have my best result. Obviously, conditions dependent. Have my best result at those events. And with time trialing, there's so many things to improve on. So there's your position, your power, obviously, but then also I've had a really good conversation with a very experienced UK time trialist, and pacing is extremely important. So depending on the conditions, if you've got a big old headwind going one direction, you really need to put more power. You need to negative split it in a way that you're putting a lot more power down going into the headwind, because that's where you're going so much slower. And if you're so much above your target speed, and you've got a tailwind behind you, you're just wasting your watts at that stage. So you save your watts for the harder sections, basically. So if you're going super fast, there's no reason to press on the pedals. So have like a target speed in mind. And then for road racing, I really want to get a huge amount of racing done under the belt, and ideally make it to Cat 1 by the end of the year. So I'll need 12 points to get from Cat 4 to Cat 3. 30 points, 50 points to get from Cat 3 to Cat 2, something like that, and then 200 points to get to Cat 1. So basically I'll just race a huge amount and get loads of experience, and ideally during that I'll get loads of British cycling points and get to Cat 1. I think that's a really good goal, because I know I will be training full time, like well, I am, and yeah, why not? Fuck it. Another goal, aim for 1,000 hours for the year. So that'll be like around 20 hours a week, and then around 2 weeks off. So maybe 2 week off season, and then 50 weeks of averaging around 20 hours a week, which is definitely feasible. So why not have it as a goal, 1,000 hours? That's quite a nice number. For the first 18 weeks of taking the cycling fully seriously, doing it full time, I'd laid off the gym work. I'm very experienced in the gym, but when I go to the gym, I'll take it very seriously, and as a result, a lot of my recovery will go into recovering from the gym sessions. So I've been trying to find that. I want to be able to find that balance next year of how much gym work I can do to have as much strength and power as possible, but then it also not take away from my cycling at all, because I feel like that's a trap I can definitely fall into, because I want to push the numbers in the gym, but then that's detrimental to my cycling. As if I was to use that recovery to recover from a harder cycling session, then that's actually going to make me better on the bike, rather than just getting stronger in the gym for the sake of getting stronger. I want that strength and power to have a purpose, to find that balance. So now that I've got a gym membership, go at least twice a week. So it'll be on the same day as a session. So do a session in the morning, go to the gym in the evening. But I could, on other days, I could also go to the gym and do some lighter work, more power-based work. So doing Olympic lifting, do light Olympic lifting and work on my technique. But yeah, at least 2 days a week, which for me is pants, nothing. But the key is basically not overdoing it and finding that right balance. That's something also very different. I actually like thinking about different, I guess, philosophical things. When I'm very lucky when I'm out on the bike, that I have all this time, that I've got this free headspace to tick things over, and I come up with these scenarios, and I feel like come up with very interesting justifications of like where my beliefs come from. And so I've started writing about that, so I want to continue doing that and get lots of my ideas down on paper, get lots of ideas down on paper, and then start refining that into something that's more readable, because at the moment it's very much train of thought, illegible type of things. And then I'm wanting to get more into reading, read a lot of philosophy, but I'm holding off on that at the moment because I want to get my ideas down on paper first, and then don't want to be reading philosophy and then come up with my own ideas where I'm just repeating verbatim what I've heard in a new book that I've been reading, rather than it being truly my idea. So I want to get my ideas down, and then I can read these classic philosophical works and compare how the conclusions I came to with what's in the pieces. So yeah, that's a couple of things for 2024. Definitely going to come up with new goals during the year. Just because New Year's doesn't mean you're confined to, you have to come up with goals for the year now. Like, things are going to evolve and change. So, but those are things where they're pretty broad, and I think they're nice little goals to have. So yeah, hope you guys I'm looking forward to 2024, and hope you guys had a good 2023. So yeah, see you next week.